Agent Romanoff. You miss me?
Oh yeah, Charles, we got ourselves an X-Men fan.
Captain. Your Highness.
Captain, big fan, Spider-Man. Hey everyone.
Hi everyone and welcome to Film Artsy, your #1 source for all things films and movies. And the cast of characters featured in the Marvel Cinematic Universe range from a ton of different backgrounds in acting, and for the most part are pretty stand-up people. But just like any person, when pushed too far, someone might lash out, and since in this case these are celebrities, of course it's caught on camera. That being said, we are counting down our picks for the top 10 moments Avenger cast members have gotten angry on camera.
Oh, hell no.
Let's get into it. Number 10, Samuel L. Jackson. This one comes back from a few years ago when, during the press tour for RoboCop, one of the entertainment reporters mistaken Samuel L. Jackson for Lawrence Fishburne, which led to a very awkward and justified complaint coming from Samuel L. Jackson, who definitely put the reporter in his place. Some cringiness ensues.
The Super Bowl commercial, did you get a lot of reaction to that Super Bowl commercial?
What Super Bowl commercial?
Oh, you know what? I've admit my mistake.
See, you're as crazy as the people on Twitter.
Right.
I'm not Lawrence Fishburne.
That's my fault. I know that. That was my fault. My mistake. You know what?
We don't all look alike.
Father, you're
We may
exactly
be
right.
all black and famous,
You
but
are
we all don't look
guilty.
alike. You're the entertainment report.
Number 9, Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt has a reputation for being a pretty calm and collective person, even when dealing with huge crowds in paparazzi or fans. But in one situation at an airport, after signing a bunch of autographs and having to leave, one of the paparazzis cussed him out for not doing an autograph for him. And Chris Pratt actually goes ahead and rolls the window down and calls out that member of the paparazzi.
You're cussing me out now?
No,
You should be nice. You got a cross on your chest, man. You're cussing me out. I just paid you guys a bunch of money right now. Come on, man. Don't be a jerk.
Number 8, Anthony Mackie. This is one of the more recent ones that have happened, but at Ace Comic-Con, Anthony Mackie was doing a panel with Tom Holland and Sebastian Stan, and they were doing an open Q&A where two fans came up who were totally fangirling over Tom Holland and were being really rude to Sebastian Stan and Anthony Mackie himself, while also completely not just asking questions and just being really weird and talking about random things that made the overall panel kind of awkward. And of course, while Anthony Mackie was playing it up a little bit for the crowd, he did eventually overthrow their Q&A section and took a question from someone else and redirected the conversation.
You and your friends. Oh, God.
Hello, Iris. I hope
There
you're
you
well.
go. Where's Iris? Stand up, Iris.
She's not here.
Great friend.
So, does someone have a question?
I do actually.
Okay, over here. Since the idea of the word question is lost on you two.
Number 7, Don Cheadle. During a press tour for Avengers Infinity War, while they were being interviewed on Good Morning America, Mark Ruffalo lets a pretty big spoiler slip through, and Don Cheadle tries to stop him, but is a little bit too late, and obviously is a little bit irritated, especially when Mark Ruffalo tries to cover his tracks and it just doesn't look too good.
Well, it doesn't end that well. Somebody always bites or gets really badly hurt.
Wait till you see this next one.
Hard.
Everybody dies.
Dude.
Not everybody. No. Is that...
No?
Hey, whatever.
Can we rewind that part?
Yeah. You're excited to meet?
Am I in trouble?
A little.
Is Barry going to be mad at me?
Dude, I just move on. I wouldn't try to like
No,
focus
what's
on it.
that next?
Number 6, Dave Bautista. During a quick interview by TMZ, the reporter asks about boxer Manny Pacquiao, who had made some very homophobic comments in the past. This, rightfully so, fired up Dave Bautista, who made these comments.
Everyone's talking about Manny saying, with the scriptures, saying that, basically the scripture that he quoted said, gay people should be stoned to death.
So my opinion on that is a idiot. My mom happens to be a lesbian, so I don't take that. I don't think it's funny. I feel like this, if anyone called my mother an animal, I'd stick my foot in his ass.
Number 5, Scarlett Johansson. Scarlett Johansson in the past has commented on how she's sick and tired of receiving sexist questions during her interviews for different press tours, and one of the prime examples comes from this interview right after she completed the Ghost in the Shell interview tour. She brings up a really good point here that also kind of shows the irritation of having to deal with certain sexist interview questions.
I've just finished the press junket for Ghost in the Shell yesterday.
Another outfit.
And I finally got so tired of being asked how long it took me to put on my suit and what do I wear under there. And I said, I'm sorry, do you happen to ask a man this question? Yeah, that's all right. I'm nude, but I'm not nude.
Yeah, and I like that.
Leave it at that.
Yeah, but it's hard
use
to...
your imagination. You really want to know. I love when people
Yes.
ask, people go, how do you go to the bathroom? I'm like, come on, do people really need to know that?
Number 4, Stan Lee. This is one of the most heartbreaking ones on this list because Stan Lee is such a great person who has literally paved the way for the Marvel Universe, and his cameos are really loved in all of the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies. I mean, he started it all. However, a lawyer who briefly worked under Stan Lee for just a couple of days released a document publicly that was allegedly slanderous, which offended Stan Lee to the point where he actually had to ask someone to help him film a video clearing his own name first.
Hi, this is Stan Lee. I just want to set the record straight about a document that I heard is floating around, which is totally incorrect, inaccurate, misleading, insulting, and I don't know how many more words I can say about it. Apparently it was written by Tom Lawless, an attorney that I had hired for just a few days.
You can see from the video that he is visibly upset over what has been going on. And number 3 is a quick one just because Chris Hemsworth never gets angry at anything, but there was this one moment where one of the reporters spoiled something out of Thor Ragnarok, and he kind of just is blunt that you can't talk about that, and it's just kind of great because it's just a little awkward for a second.
Your sister, she's trying to kill you. Your brother's...
You can't give that away.
I didn't. Let's pretend I didn't.
It's day on Easter's Day.
This is not live, is it? We can rewind.
I think I...
Is that a spoiler?
I think I should remove everything else that happens in the...
Number 2, Terrence Howard. A lot of you remember Terrence Howard, who originally played as Rhodey in the first Iron Man movie.
Next time, baby.
And was originally supposed to make appearances in Iron Man 2 and 3, and probably would have also been in all of the Avengers movies in Civil War that had War Machine in the movie. However, Terrence Howard has been outspoken several times now about how he was wronged by the Marvel studio, and has even spoken out about how he was upset that Robert Downey Jr. pretty much got his salary that was originally set aside for his character. However, in a more recent interview 10 years later, he elaborated a little bit more on his overall frustration.
No, the second time they came and they said, we think the movie would be successful with or without you. So instead of the $8 million that we've said we're going to pay you, we're going to let you come back for $1 million. Now, we did a 3-picture deal already, so it wasn't any negotiating. Yeah. It was a 3-picture deal, so I'm like, oh, we're good. I didn't know that it was not a mutually binding contract. It was only beneficial for them. Yeah. They could bring me back.
And number 1, Robert Downey Jr. During an interview with Christian Guru Murthy, who works for Channel 4 News and has a reputation for asking extremely personal and inappropriate questions in interviews, decided that during the press tour for Spider-Man Homecoming to ask Robert Downey Jr. about his past. And under certain interview scenarios, if it's more about the person being interviewed and less about promoting a movie, these type of questions would be okay. However, under this setting, Robert Downey Jr. was just doing a tour to promote Spider-Man Homecoming, and the question really just kind of came out of nowhere and seemed almost like it wasn't planned. The response Robert Downey Jr. gave was exactly what you think Robert Downey Jr. would give.
Role of all of that in the dark periods you entered and taking drugs and drinking and all of that. And I just wondered whether you think you're free of all of that, or whether that's still something.
I'm sorry, I really don't. What do we do?
3 more minutes on our on our agreement.
Your foot's starting to jump a little bit. You better get to your next question.
Well, that's our list. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe and hit the like button. Also, if you really like what we do, consider supporting us on Patreon to get really cool perks such as shoutouts and other types of things in the link down below. It really helps us out a lot in making this type of content, and we'd really appreciate your support. That's all the time we have for today. Hit the like button down below, and we'll see you all next time with a brand new video.